2, 1. There it is. All right, my name is Jeff Pitchford. It has been great to be here at this conference today. If you saw 30 high school kids running around, those were my students from my school, from Putnam County Career and Technical Center. And it's been really good to be here today to kind of remember some of the networking part of being in IT, and I've enjoyed it. So when I thought about this, I thought about what scares me, what fear in the night, and I think one of the things I thought about was what we're trying to do in our class. This is my 8th year, is building the future workforce early, trying to get them to find what they want to do early in IT and computer science and cybersecurity, and we're trying to expose them through CTE, and we'll kind of talk about all those things through. And first, we're going to talk about Putnam County Schools and Putnam Career and Technical Center. We'll talk about that, who I am and my role, and our mission. Our mission is preparing students for tech careers early, trying to help them find what they want early. And why does this topic matters now more than ever? Because I believe, like I was talking to somebody today, just within cybersecurity, there's probably 150 different breakdowns, might be the right word, of cybersecurity. So Putnam County, Putnam Career Technical Center, it's in Eleanor, West Virginia. And this is our new motto. It's kind of enrolled, employed, enlisted. And that's kind of what we want to do. When kids come in, the students come in their 11th grade year, we want to help them to find what their career is, what they want to be. And we enroll them, and then from there, some people go right out in the workforce. Then we take the next step of enrolling them into secondary school, whatever past there. And then we also have a lot that go into the military. But one thing that we're really at Skills USA, and Skills USA is just a really wonderful organization that allows students to do different skills. Over the last 6 years, I've had multiple state champions. One's in the room right now that got the prepared speech, and this past year I have one that actually got the state champion for IT. And from there, they go to nationals, which is in Atlanta, and just the networking, kind of like what we did here today. My students, one thing I told them today, come and network. It's about meeting people, doing these things, and meeting people, and that's kind of what we're trying to do. We're a gold standard school, which there isn't a whole lot of those throughout the country, not just the state of West Virginia, in the country. There's less than 50 in the whole country. So we try our best to really help the student, and at PCTC, that is one of our goals. So the rest of the time I'll say PCTC, okay? So what do we do? At PCTC, you can get your car fixed, all right? You can get your teeth worked on. You can get carpentry is in there. There is people working on masonry, electrical, nursing, everything in that building. Law enforcement, we got fire in there. It's amazing what goes on in that building. And of course, you can get your computer fixed. All right, we have that side of it too. But I want you to understand what PCTC is about, and that it is a multifaceted organization that allows for so many awesome things. So here's me. My name's Jeff Pitchford. Those are my 2 boys, and probably more proud of them more than anything. And I bring that up because, I'm a father first, okay? And that's one reason why I even got into teaching and different things like that to help students find their direction. But I have a couple degrees, 3 degrees from Marshall, and but I have my CompTIA certs, Project Lead the Way, about 360 hours of there, 320 hours of programming skills there that I learned to help teach students. But I've been in IT for 30 plus years, and I've been in teaching for about 8. And what we try to do, and the reason why I bring that out is that at PCTC we try our best, because the person who does masonry, guess what they've done for about 20 years? They worked in masonry. Carpentry, the same thing. So I try to bring those real world situations in to allow them to be better at the job. And I worked in different parts of education, and I've been doing coaching. But this is my family. Those are my two sons, and they're both, one goes to Marshall, and one goes to Glenville State University. So a little bit about me. Now, the thing what we do is called Simulated Workplace. And Simulated Workplace is a tool that allows us to try to, what it is, simulate a real workplace. And ours is called Putnam Career and Technical Group. and we do IT solutions, and we do applications. So we have a mini help desk in the school. There's certain things. Here's the bad thing about students, okay? They figure out ways to get around stuff, okay? So there's certain rights we can't give them, okay? That is probably one of our biggest struggles. This past year in Putnam County, and this happened in Kanawha County and some other counties, we took their phones away. Guess what? They figured out with Chrome extensions how to connect to servers in other countries, right? That's what they do, okay? They're amazing. They can figure things out. So we do allow them to do certain things, but more of what we try to do within the classroom in a simulated workplace is really get what happens at a real place, and we try our best to do that. One of the things we do is we have a security conference. Past 2 years we've had our own security conference, and this past year it was Securing Digital Frontier, Navigating the Cybersecurity Landscape. They actually designed the whole conference. They did it themselves, and this was our schedule last year at the conference, and in that we had some amazing speakers. We had Dr. Brunny at our conference last year, okay? We had others from Alpha, from Advantage, from other local businesses. Even Matt Perry spoke at ours last year, okay? So we go out and try, and we're scheduling our one, we're planning our one for the spring. We'll be doing probably one in February. And here's some pictures from that conference. There's Dr. Brunny speaking at our conference. And they designed the conference. I go back to this. They did this. They got it all together. They designed it, and then I started to go out to find the speakers for it. And they did it on themselves. So we had Dr. Brunny there. There's Matt speaking right there, Matt Perry speaking at the conference. And here's another one, and I like this one because there's Dr. Brunny, and she's sitting right here, and I didn't know if she'd be here or not. Okay, but that's one of my former students right there. Okay, and she's part of the cybersecurity group at Marshall University, and those are 3 or 4 speakers, and it was such a great day. It ended up just being really amazing, and the students saw their hard work come out. Okay, saw what they could do, and kind of like they come up here today, the ones that were there last year, because I have them for 2 years. Some of them are first year, some are second year, and I'm gonna tell you, they walked out of here, they were like, hey, this is good. I like this. This is something I want to be a part of. And as I watched my students walk out, they came in here, they're gaining confidence, but they walked out of here with more confidence today. Because some of them have already done their own conference. They know how hard it is to do some of those things. But this is what they do. This is where we go. So I just want you to know there is a call for speakers. I'll be going out. If there's somebody that's in this room would like to come and you have something you think you might want to say to our group, we would love to, and if you come up to me afterwards, then I'll give you a card and we'll connect, okay? So simulated workplace, just so you know, we kind of try to treat it just like the workplace. They have attendance, they have to call in, they have responsibilities, they keeping areas clean, it's about sometimes being the leader in a group. So all those things we're trying to teach on-the-job training and trying to get them to understand. When I first started in IT in 1994, 95, on-the-job training, I got thrown into a lot of things. My first job was at Bowles Rice here in Charleston, and that summer, I had to take all these HP Vector VLs and put a network card in all of them. That was my first job, right? And with Windows 3 on it, 3.1.1, and put them out into circulation. And so we try to simulate some of those kind of things where you walk into a situation and they don't call in. If you don't call into work, what happens? Unless there's something really bad. You get written up, you get in trouble, okay? So those are kind of things we try to really, through the simulated workplace, to simulate. So there's a challenge, and there's a skills gap in IT, computer science, and cybersecurity. We feel like talking to local companies and different things, one of the biggest that I've talked to is that a lot of them know how to do something, they just don't know how to communicate it. They don't know how to really look at somebody and work with them and communicate it. So that's one thing that I, over the last 3 years, have really tried to do. So they're working on a project, we're working on an emergency action plan right now. And the emergency action plan is an app that says if there's a fire in the building, this is where it's in the building. And they do a prototype of it, and then they have to sell it. Well, the hardest part, they can code the stuff, but get in front of everybody is the hard part. Communicating, creating the presentation and doing those kinds of things. So we're really working hard with that and trying to help them to work toward, because of rising costs of student debt, a lack of early exposure. Sometimes you have students go into something and spend money on something before they know it. Do they like it? Do they want to do it? And that's one thing at CTE, in the CTE school, we try to do. So on-the-job training foundation. Right now, my one group is learning about Scrum basics, about working in a group, collaborating, who's the lead, who does this, who does that. Everybody loves to program. Everybody loves to do all the fun stuff behind it, but no one likes to document, all right? Can I get an amen, right? Okay, it's just part of it, okay? So doing that stuff behind the scenes and trying to teach them that, hey, this is important. You've got to learn to do those things. We're having my afternoon class is doing server builds right now. They're doing those server builds. They're learning about the different builds and we're going to probably, and what we're getting ready to do, they don't know this, but we're going to try to create our own AI in our classroom, have our own AI box, server in our classroom. I've been researching it, it's what's been great today. I've talked to 3 or 4 people that's done it already, some, and today I've learned a lot just from talking to people here at this conference, like, hey, we can do this, So, and then everybody, when you do cool stuff like that, everybody thinks it's great. Like everybody wants to get pictures then, okay? Even though we do all kinds of other good things behind the scenes, what gets kids jobs a lot of times is not the cool stuff. It's being able to go in and understand how to set up a network and do things like that. But they learn Python, and they're going to learn different networking. This is the foundation. Over the 2 years, this is very vague, right? But I want you to kind of understand that we're working. We feel like this takes part of the fear away and helps the student to understand, hey, this is the direction I may want to go, okay? This is the way I might want to be. In the Project Lead the Way side is really, it comes down to problem solving, okay? And I really believe, and I truly have seen this over the last 8 years, is that just like going out here and unlocking things, we're doing some of the testing and some of the stuff down here. Is students sometimes, if it don't come easy, they get frustrated. I'll give you what I do. The first 9 weeks in my morning class, my AM class, they are so frustrated with me because I tell them where answers are, but they got to research them and find them. Okay, and they're so sometimes used to clicking something and it being there really fast, and it makes them frustrated. And I said, listen, you've got to learn that it comes past, not everything's going to come really easy. And you may have some frustration. You may have some aggravation. That's IT. Okay? That's the part I miss about being where I'm at right now, is you come in every day, it's something different a lot of times, right? There's something different. And it's a new problem. It's a new situation. But I had a boss tell me one time, he said, if you're always fighting fires, there's probably a problem. It was by Jerry Ford. And he said that so many times, because you know what? We have to be a people, and I'm trying to teach my kids to research and learn how to problem solve. That's one of the things that we do a lot of. So the CTE solution. What is career CT, or career technical education, CTE, CTE pathways, and through computer science and cybersecurity, and then we're going to kind of bridging that gap between education and industry. So CTE, or Career Technical Education, is a comprehensive, and I'm going to just read this, I don't like to do this a whole lot, but I want to, is a comprehensive educational approach that combines academic knowledge with technical and occupational skills to prepare students for careers in a wide range of industries. So CTE is trying to, bring the hands-on into the classroom. I think that's one thing through all of education we need to start to really look at for a lot of our students, is really connecting those two things. I always say it like this: in geometry or in carpentry, they use a lot of geometry. A lot of those kids don't like geometry, but when they're in carpentry and they learn how to use the geometry in that, they go, oh, that makes sense. So I try to do that even within the IT side, is that there's times you think, oh, this doesn't make sense, and then bring that hands-on. They'll do a simulation. We do a lot of definitions, right? And all of them don't like me when we do a lot of definitions, but I use the other thing. Biology, you cannot build upon anything in biology unless you know what a cell is. And the same thing, I think, goes within IT. If I don't know what an IP address is, how can I build on anything else? So I'm really big on those things, and I've learned from my former students that are successful, they really appreciate it later on. That CTE solution, it provides hands-on, career-focused learning. It connects education to real-world applications. It develops enjoyable and life skills and prepares students for multiple post-secondary options. And that is the key. Now, if you don't walk out of anything, and if you know a student that's maybe struggling with something, and Cabell County has a great school, CTE school. Kanawha County does. Some of you might be from other counties. Roane County has a great school. All these places throughout the state of West Virginia has some of the best, all right, in the country. Nicholas County, we're getting ready to go up to Nicholas County in 2 weeks. A great school, great CTE school, and they're pumping out kids that are doing things that they're making money, they're not in debt, and they're doing great things, and they're given options. That's the biggest thing. At the end of their 12th grade year, they have an option. They kind of know. I had a kid this past year, super smart, just great kid. He was doing so good, and he texted me during the summer, and he sent me a message, and he goes, I think I'm going to go into engineering. I said, that's great. That's fine. You figured it out now. You know, he didn't go and do something later. So that's another thing about CTE. We got kids that come and do something on the automotive side, and they're like, I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I'm going to go do something in masonry, or I'm going to do something in carpentry. I had a kid that was in law enforcement last year, and he's in my class this year and doing really well. He was here today, and he said he talked to 2 or 3 people. He's probably going to go to Glenville. He talked to Glenville. He might go to school there. So him experiencing something helped him to grow. 2 things this is our 2 kind of tracks that we go. We used to be a total networking path, and about 6 years ago, we had leaders come in and say, hey, we don't need we need you to start to teach more than just networking. And so that's why we, over the last 4 or 5 years, have come to this place where we brought CompTIA in, the Trinity, the A+, Network Plus, Security Plus. Their first year, they can earn all 3 of those. We do A+ and Network Plus in class. They have the option to do the Security Plus if they want. It's all free. If they pass it, I might say this again, we pay for it. All right? Project Lead the Way is a Python-based and some Java programming, and it really teaches that Scrum process about working together and coming together within a group. This year, and my students are here, so I will say this in aspect, and I guess they'll probably hear it later, and that's okay. My morning class has struggled, okay? All right, they've struggled working in a group. Now, everybody in here knows you work with people you don't like sometimes, right? Sometimes you have to work with someone you don't want to work with. And that's why, and you guys look at you, I don't like you, even though I'm sitting beside you right now, right? Okay, so, but that's the real life. And so we really try to even simulate that within the group. They sign a contract within the group. This is what I'm going to be doing. Listen, if a kid doesn't do the part in the PowerPoint they're supposed to do, they get the lower grade. And that's real life. That's how real life works. And so we've built that in and started that process. And this is our path that we feel right now. And we've been even talking about with AI, some of those changes in AI. I had one company say, I don't want them to learn how to do silly games. That's exactly what he told me. They don't need to learn how to do silly games. They need to learn how to do all the documentation around it, to work together, and to look at code and use AI to better the program, whatever it's needed. So I'm trying to do those kind of things. We're trying to work in that direction. Career technical education plays a vital role in connecting what students learn in the classroom with the skills and knowledge of what employees need. And that last part, I think, and we try to get them career ready, but we get them college prepared, and we also industry certified. We try to do all those things within this and use real world relevance. We try to really bring in the industry partners. We do that a lot. If you'd like to be a part of my advisory board, you're here and you say, hey, there's something I think I could add to what you're doing. Talk to me afterwards. I'm looking for more people to be on my advisory board that gives me good feedback from and I say it, the real world. All right? Education, a lot of times, gets stuck in where they're at, and they need to understand what's going on in the real world and what's going on, and we want that feedback. We want to know because we want those work-based learning opportunities and those career paths. So this is our thought process, is that early exposure equals early confidence. So today, they heard 3 really good talks here today, and as they walked out, I talked to some of them, and they go, I've got 4 or 5 things I'm going to do this weekend. You know, some with AWS, one with some other penetration stuff, and they're all excited. They're all excited for this weekend. Mondays when they come in, they're going to be like, woo, you know, telling me stuff. And I'm excited to hear it because some of the stuff I tell them was repeated today. But I get it. I'm kind of like a symbol sometimes, right? It's just like our parents and same thing. And they came in and said some of the same things I say a lot today, and they're excited. And that's great. That early confidence, them understand. And listen, I'm not joking. As they walked out of here today, I watched them. They were excited. There was some confidence built because they're starting to understand that, hey, I can make this a career. I can make a living doing this. I can make money doing this. And that's what it comes down to. I say this all the time. Money doesn't bring happiness. It brings stability. And I say that to my kids all the time in my class. It doesn't always bring happiness. It can sometimes, but it brings stability. And everybody has to make some money to live. And so we try to do those kind of things. So we work with definitions. We are big about a white paper. They write 4 white papers a year, a total of 8 over the 2 years. And they write a white paper. Right now they're working on one that has a security flaw in a game. All right, a known security flaw in a game. What was the problem? What happened? What was the solution? And what maybe future solutions. So we're working on those kinds of things right now. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm learning this. A lot of them don't know how to do that. Okay? They don't know how to communicate something like that. And so this is on the other side of the technical stuff, right? We all love the technical stuff. We love doing that stuff, but there's that other side where you've got to communicate with the person who does not know the lingo, doesn't know the definitions, don't know how to talk to that stuff. So we really work toward that. While they're doing the fun stuff, I'm doing all these things around it. I'm trying my best to. And then we have NOCTI. NOCTI is kind of like our, if you used to have the CTPS test, I always talk about that. Those tests we used to do the bubble stuff in, okay? We do a NOCTI test. And last year I had 2 that were national. They were at the national scale. And they got 6 college credit hours for it, you know. And I had the rest that met government standard here in the state of West Virginia. All of them were above national standards, okay. And that excites me because, you know, through all that, they're doing a lot of things that they don't really get. They go, well, this is hard, but it starts to make sense in the big picture for them. Certifications, they do the CompTIA, they can earn 3. The Project Lead the Way is I would call it, when I was in school, it was 119 Marshall. It's that first class that you take, and they can earn that as long as they make a B or above. Students earn these credentials before graduation. It's just another what? It goes back to confidence. And these certifications they give some college credit and different things like that. So here's some real student success. And I'm going to show you 3 students achieving early certifications. They've had internships, scholarships, career starts, and they've inspired their peers around them. First one, this is William Blair. He had my class about 5 years ago, and I poured definitions into him. He was a culinary student. All right, he came to PCTC, was going to do the culinary. He had done it in Mississippi. His dad was in the military, and he found out about my class. He came and talked to me, and I said, hey, come on, try it. Let's do it. And now he just graduated from Marshall and moved to Texas, is working for USSA, making double what I'm making. All right, I know he's in Texas, but still he's making a lot of money. And we talk almost once or twice a week. And he's come and told me, he says this all the time. He says, I hated doing those definitions. But when I had that internship with AWS, when I had the internship with Amazon and he had one with Microsoft, he said, and with them, he said, I always went back to those definitions. It was so important that anything I was doing, I needed to know the lingo. And now he's married, he lives down there. Success. That's what I love to see, those kind of things. All right. The next one, and not to embarrass her, she's in this room right here, is I didn't know she'd be here or not. I thought she probably would be, but is Hope Fry. She was in my class for 1 year. She was a skills champion. She was a leader in my class. I mean, like, anytime I can get someone like a Hope and someone like a William, it just changes the whole class. And she did a great job with that. She's now in the forensics group at Marshall. What's your role in the women's treasurer for that? She's in that club. So all these things, you know, and it goes back to her figuring out, hey, this is something I want to do. She kind of knew. I mean, she kind of had a little bit of help, right? Okay, in this, okay, her dad. But this was a great. It said, hey, it solidified it. Okay, that's what CTE does. It solidifies things for kids before it gets hard, before it matters, maybe a little bit too. You're not spending money. You're not doing other things. Just another success. Another one is, this is Caden Lett. He works for Local to You. You might have seen those billboards up around the valley. It is kind of like a Skylink without the satellites, I guess would be the best way to say it. They shoot down into like St. Albans and Nitro right now. They're in Milton, I think in Barbersville. But he got his A+ last year, and then he finished his Network Plus right after he graduated. And now he works for Local to You, making really good money. He went to college and he said, I'm not going to do that right now. And he's making great money, and he's got his 2 certifications. He's working on another certification right now. And he says, I'm just going to do certifications. That's what I'm going to do. And I think that's the thing, is like, my mom and dad said, you got to go to college, all right? It's like, this is what you're going to do. What we're trying to do in CTE is say, hey, you know what? You might go to college, and that's okay. But you also, hey, you know what? Listen, this might be an option for you. And then as you grow up or you go in and get to a place where they might even pay for your education, right? So that's what's happening to him. They're paying for him to go to college now, paying for him to do certain things online. So Caden is one of those examples of just, hey, I'm going to do search right now, and we'll see what happens. But he's been very successful. He's climbing a pole here. Okay, he's on top of a tower. Okay, and that amazes me. We both know Caden. I never thought Caden would climb up a pole like that. It kind of surprises me. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but we always hear about no debt and real skills. And that's what CTE allows and starts this process for some affordable. Not everything in CTE is free. Like we have a nursing program, LPN. They do pay a little bit of a fee to do this. But in my case, if they pass the A+, Network Plus, Security Plus test, we pay for it. We pay for it. We pay for it. We get an educational fee of $129. We pay for that for them. We're preparing for higher education. I've got kids that are at Marshall, at Glenville, at MountWest, and Bridge Valley right now. They've went on, and they're doing great things. I have one at West Virginia Tech. I've got one that's at WVU. So I talked to a lot of them, and they have, not all of them are in IT, okay, but they're moving on to higher education and ready. But it gives them real-world experience without a financial burden. That 11th and 12th grade year, and I do have some adult students that come also, but we're building apps. We're showing them how to use the Scrum process. We're building out servers, and we're teaching them about networks. And they'll at this my afternoon class, by the end of the year, we'll have built their server. They would have put a couple other devices on the network. We put a phone system on the network. They will build it all out into the closet, and they will run all the cabling. They'll do all that aspect of it. And the way I look at it is, I don't think AI can take that yet. All right? I'm being very serious about that. All right? You know, there are going to be jobs that go away, and there's going to be some things that change. So I'm trying to make sure I'm giving both sides of the fence, right? The AI fence, we're going to be using AI and starting to do more things with that, building our own. But also, hey, listen, here's the physical side. Listen, my class just built their first Ethernet cables this past week, okay? And let me tell you something, that's hilarious. I love to watch the programmers who are really good at this, and they're over there just going, I can't get this thing, and they're getting mad, and I love it. I love the frustration. They finally get it, and they're like, yes. And they're walking away going, I did this, you know? I had, her name's Riley. Riley, she broke the record. She had never done it for 22 minutes. She had it made, and it was good. It was a good cable, and she was so proud of that cable. And doing something physical like that down the road, I believe, for right now, it's just another way to be ready for those things that come. It leads to help desk, to security analysts, network engineers, if you get those certifications. And early exposure leads to better career direction. You know, I don't know about you, but I did change my major 3 times when I went to college. Okay? So we're trying our best to allow students all through CTE, not just my class, to really try to say, hey, you know what? I want to find something that I want to do for the rest of my life. I believe there's going to be a great growth in IT. It's kind of hard to understand where it's going to go with AI. There's going to be new jobs come out of this. We all know that. One thing I've really been stressing, I have a person who I'm real close to who is an IT director, and they just had a person come in, started the process of over the last year and a half to analyze the network, and they make a lot of money doing that. They're making good living. So maybe that's a direction that goes, but I think that's really the next to come. So the role of industry partners, and this is where I'm going to talk to you for a second, is that if you have something you can help me with, I want your help. If you'd like to be a part of my advisory board, if there's something you think, hey, I can help you with, I would love to hear from you. And we need mentorships. We need internships. We love for guest speakers to come and just say, hey, let me come and talk to your students for 15 or 20 minutes. I would love to give you that opportunity to come and speak. Because we're really trying at PCTC. We had a career day yesterday, and we had over 110 companies there that was doing a job fair, and we had two tech companies there, and it went great. We had people there all night for 4 hours just coming through, and we're really trying our best to help students get out into the pipeline in the workplace. We do have some measurable outcomes. I do want to tell you that about NOCTI, workforce competency. We are meeting those standards at PCTC across the board, and all of them are meeting the standards. This past year, there was not one group within our school that did not meet those standards, and they're going out in the workforce and they're working. They're already going out and working, and it's just an amazing thing to see. So a call to action: get involved. If you are an IT person and you've got experience, we want you to mentor, to volunteer, to connect. We would be love for you to do it with us. If you want to do it in Kanawha County, if you want to do it in Mason or kind of wherever it may be, but we're looking for people to come and help students to see the future. Support your local CTEs and educators. Those instructors, a lot of them, though they work outside of there, and I'm going to say this, they could be making more money sometimes in the real world, okay? And they have chosen to do some of these kinds of things for different reasons, and we'd love to have your knowledge and your wisdom, and I would love for that. Help build the next generation of IT leaders. When I started in 1994, 95, I never thought I'd be 30 years in. Never thought I'd be this far along. I've been blessed to work in education, in law firms. I worked in healthcare for 8 years, did electronic health records, database stuff. I worked for the Department of Education for 4 years. Done a lot of different things. I managed phone systems back whenever you used to have to manage phone systems, and all these kind of things. It's amazing what we did when I worked at Bowles Rice. We did some amazing things, but you know what's changed? It's not the same. So we need if you're still out there working in it, we want your knowledge and everything. So again, I'm calling for speakers for our coming up security conference. And if you're something you know somebody maybe want to come, we would love to. If you'd love to be a part of our advisory board, we'd love for you to be a part of that. If there's something you think you could add, because here it is, okay? I took this picture today. All right, there's my students today, okay? And they could be a little annoying sometimes, right? They're running around here getting in the way a little bit. But you know what? There's probably 10 or 12 in there that's going to be future IT leaders. And I'm excited about it. I'm telling you, it was so good. This is my third year coming up here with a group. And they walked out of here and they were just excited. They learned things today, and they wanted to go in those directions, okay? And so I think CTE is a great place. It's like I was talking to someone earlier. I think that there's all kinds of different avenues. I think CTE is just one that maybe gets them started in the direction they need to go. So here's my contact information, and I just put my telephone number up there and my email address. I didn't put all my other stuff on there because sometimes I don't even pay attention to Twitter anymore or X or whatever it is, and I'm getting old. Okay, so if you have something you'd like, I'd love for you to let me know, and I appreciate it. I really would, to get your input in what we're doing. Is there any questions? I'll try to get you out a little early. All right? Yeah, go ahead. Yes. No, you're good. PCTC is in Eleanor, West Virginia. It's in Putnam County. It is part of Putnam County Schools. And we have, I'll say this about, we have all 4 high schools, okay, that come to that school. So Hurricane, Winfield, Buffalo, and Polka. We also have students from Tays Valley Christian and Calvary, and we have homeschool students also. So in my classroom right now, I have all 6 of those represented, or 7 of those represented in my classroom right now. I have students from all of those schools. So, which is really a pretty powerful thing. It's a really great thing with all the things in education. It's a really good thing. Any other questions? All right. Thank you for coming. I'm a little joking when I say this. He's probably still recording, but I feel like the B side of the record. Okay, it's like we're at the end of the day, and I appreciate you staying and watching this presentation, being part of it. Thank you.